Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and do a quick little comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 and the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 and see how both these phones hold up in 2022. Now, we're kind of getting into 2023. I never got around of comparing these phones like in the last 2 years. So let's go and see how they compare. If you want to pick up some phones I would recommend this year, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can also support the channel at the same time. Now, going from the Note 9 to the Note 10, you were getting a little bit of a smaller phone, which is actually kind of interesting, but there was noticeably less bezel on the Note 10. On the front of the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, we have a pretty large display. This is a really, really good panel. So on the front of this device, we do have that dynamic AMOLED display, 6.4 inches actually, and it was a really good screen, 1440p. I was a big fan of this display when it first came out. The screen time was really annoying me, and it's a very good display. You have a little bit of bezel on the top and bottom, but otherwise, I think it looked very nice. You have a little curved side to it. And I remember back in 2020 when this phone came out, I was still looking at this phone and I was like, it is a beautiful phone. It just has so much going for it. And then with the Note 10, this phone ended up coming out and it ended up becoming a very interesting phone. So with the Samsung Galaxy Note 10, we have a 6.3-inch dynamic AMOLED display. So it's a slimmer phone and it's a smaller size screen than the Galaxy Note 9. But if you kind of look at it, it still looks very modern. Compared to the Note 9, this phone definitely looks a lot better. This phone has like two screen little things right here, which is kind of funny. At the top, you had a less bezel. At the bottom, you had less bezel. To be honest, when I look at the S22 Ultra, it looks almost identical to this phone, at least on the front. You have the hole punch display here, whereas on the Note 9, you didn't have a hole punch display. You just had, like the bezel on it. But otherwise, I think the Note 9 still looks good, but the Note 10 definitely looks far better in my opinion. On the sides of these phones, it was kind of also the same type of design. Like it wasn't anything super crazy. You were getting basically like the curved side, which looked pretty good. The Note 9 was a thicker phone. You were also getting like a bigger battery on the Note 9 too, which is nice. And buttons and everything were at the same spot. On the bottom, kind of like this flat side, which looked really cool. You had the S Pen at the same spots, which are really cool. You had the headphone jack removed on the Note 10, actually, now that I remember, I forgot about that. And USB-C with Samsung DeX, which was nice. Now, on the back of these two phones, you were getting another very interesting type of change. So with the Note 10, I have all these crumbs and stuff stuck on the back of it. You were getting that triple camera setup, whereas on the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, you were getting that dual camera setup. Was it a massive difference? I mean, to be honest, not it wasn't like a crazy big difference, but you were getting the extra lens on the Note 10, which I actually like a lot. And I do think things like that add in a lot of different capability when it comes down to it. So when it comes down to these two phones, I would definitely say the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 still holds up very, very well. You're getting this glass back on both, but there's something about the Note 10 that just looks better. Like, I just feel like the Note 10 looked like a really good phone. And even now, it still looks like a very, very beautiful device. So in terms of that, I mean, in terms of the outside, that kind of covers it up. You were still getting really cool flagship features on the Note 10. Things like, reverse wireless charging. You were getting so many things like that. This came out the same year as the S10 as well. So this one, you're getting a lot of cool features built into. So in terms of that, that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of the software and longevity, the Note 10 did, end up lasting longer than the Note 9. This phone ended off with One UI 2, whereas the Note 10 did end off with One UI 4. So this phone ended up getting two versions of software more than the Note 9. Was it a big, ginormous difference? I don't know if you would necessarily call it a big, ginormous difference, but there was definitely a difference for sure. With the Note 9, you were getting a very solid build quality, and I feel like it could have, lasted longer than where it actually ended off with, if I'm being honest. The Note 10 still lasted for a very long time too, but the Note 9 could have lasted longer as well. So that kind of answers that. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both. The Samsung Galaxy Note 9 had that Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset inside of it, with 6 gigs of RAM on the base model and did go up to 8 gigabytes of RAM, whereas the Note 10 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipset inside with 8 gigs of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. Note 9 is here. Note 10 is here. Hopping out of all the applications, let us get into it. Let's go and do phone calls. 3, 2, 1. Note 10, definitely faster. Camera, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go and hop out of this one. Play Store, 3, 2, 1. I think we're going to get into some errors here somewhere. And actually, the Note 9 was slightly faster there. Scrolling through, let's see if there's a difference. And I don't really think there's going to be one. Hopping out of here. Facebook, which I don't have here. Let's do Snake vs. Blocks. 3, 2. Where is this specific game? I don't even know where this game is. I thought it down. 3, 2, 1. Now, in case there's a pop-up, I'm ready to go and click on it. And the Note 10 was faster. Then the Note 9. Getting into some slight gameplay here. Don't really think there's going to be that big of a difference here. Hopping out of these ones. Let's go get into the next one, which is Temple Run 3, 2, 1. Okay, of course we get into this pop-up here, so we'll just go and exit out of this one. I hate when that happens. Let's go into thank you, 3, 2, 1. And the Note 10 was faster there, followed by the Note 9 a little bit after. Again, not a big difference, but just a slight one when it comes down to it. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm ready to click on something in case it doesn't open properly, but I think it's probably going to end up opening. And the Note 10 was faster there by a little bit, like very, very close. The Note 9 got into it a little bit after. But again, these were like neck and neck. They were very, very close to one another. Getting into some gameplay here. Let's see if there's even a big difference. Don't even know what that's about. Okay, whatever. Let's go about this one. Let's go get to the next one. We can try Bofa. 3, 2, 1. And 2 pop-ups almost the same time. And I think that kind of covers up all the applications. I definitely do think when it comes down to it, the Note 10 is the faster one still. I mean, this one is on the later version or newer version of software. But as I've said before, I do think the Note 9 still handled performance fairly well, as well as if you use Samsung Dex. Samsung Dex is still kind of actually still decently well, which is pretty crazy. Now, in the camera department, they both, like I mentioned, have a little bit of a different setup. So with the Note 10, you had a triple camera setup, wide, ultra-wide telephoto lens. The Note 9 only had a wide and a telephoto lens when it came down to it. Now, I still think the Samsung Galaxy Note 9's camera is actually crazy good. Like, it's insane how good this camera is. Obviously, it's missing that other lens that most cameras have nowadays. But I do think for this type of camera, for this type of age, it's not bad at all. You have that ultra-wide, or you have that telephoto lens, which gets 10x zoom. You have that standard, wide-angle lens. But I still think this camera, for the most part, still has a lot of features built in. You still have single take, you have a live focus, which is actually a really cool thing. That in and of itself was pretty nice. You have the video mode, and you also have under more, you have a lot of options that you could still kind of use to your advantage. So I still think the Note 9 still has a pretty good camera, although it's not as great. But when I look at the latest cameras, like it's not like too far off. And I kind of say the same thing about the Galaxy Note 10. I feel like this phone still has a very decent type of camera on it too. Now again, it's not like the best camera or it's not perfect, but again, when I compare these two, I mean, there's still a lot of similarity. You still have single take here, which is very cool if you're into that. You have photo mode, video mode, but again, under more, that's where the more options start to come up. And you have AR Doodle, you have Pro mode options here, you have portrait mode, and under Pro Video, let's see what we get under there. I mean, it's just like stuff I don't even understand. Like, there's so much capability here, which is so awesome. So you do get a ton of capability here. I kind of wish some other manufacturers would start implementing some of these crazy cool features on their phones too, but Samsung just does it so well. So when it comes down to it, I will definitely tell you, I think the Note 10 is still a very, very good phone. I think this device still has a ton of capability, and I'm still a big fan of it. I think when it comes down to something like the Galaxy Note 9, I think this one, definitely could have lasted longer than it should have, but because it's been outdated with software for a while, there's really not a big point to pick it up if I'm being honest. I feel like a phone like the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 is kind of the lowest I would recommend going. The Note 9 is still a very, very capable phone, but the software is kind of the thing that's limiting it. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.